Welcome back to The Reset. I am Sean Tucker, human performance scientist and authority architect. We are here in the living lab documenting the science, the struggle, and the shift for every high performance dad and founder who's ready to bridge the gap between their ambition and their presence. You don't have a motivation problem. You have an isolation problem. Too many men are suffering alone, and it is causing lack of purpose, and it's burning them out rapidly. This needs urgent attention and shift in not only mindset, but in behavior, in habits, in absolutely everything. Because those men who gather, who do hard things together, and are open in chatting about what hard things they're doing in their life, I tell you, that third place is so important. But before we get into it, if you get value from this episode, please go into the show notes and just rate the show on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. Or maybe both, because what it does is it helps get in front of the man who needs it. Thank you so much. So you don't have a motivation problem. You have an isolation problem. Look back at the last few weeks of your life. You probably have your family. That's one place. You probably have your work. That's place number 2. The third place. Do you have a third place you gather and where you share what's really going on in your life? One that isn't connected to your work or to your family? That place is so utterly important, because if you don't have it, you're going to feel incredibly isolated. And there is this beautiful, story of how a men's group was started. And I think it's called Men's Table. And I'm going to paraphrase the story, but just in short, a bunch of businessmen used to gather, and essentially they would gather as a kind of networking thing. They'd say and talk about what they were doing in their business and doing in their life, more so for their business, but come to the end and maybe 2 or 3 people stayed after, and they had some drinks, and then they literally opened up and said, like, how are you doing? And the guy said, you know what? My life is shit. My marriage is falling apart. My kids don't like me. And my business is doing the worst it's ever done. But on the surface, it looks fine, right? Because this is what happens when you isolate yourself. And what happens when you isolate yourself is motivation kind of disappears. When you are frequently catching up with that third place or third space, it's not about accountability. It's more so about connection. When you understand you're not alone, everyone suffers. Everyone does hard things. Everyone goes through hard things. But when you choose to show up when it gets tough and still choose to stay connected, that's when life carries you. That's when you're carried by that connection of the people who get it. They get it not because they understand your journey 100%. They get it because they know that life isn't easy all the time. Sometimes it's easy, but oftentimes it's hard. And if you surround yourself with people and do hard things together, right? So this is the reason why every Sunday I gather as a community of up to 10 men every single week, and we're growing. It's the Train Hard Men's Club here in Mulgrave. The reason I do that is because it allows me to give back to the men as well as myself who need that little bit of space between their life and themselves. And doing hard things, doing the hard workout together, laughing, having a good time along the way. Trust me, it's a lot better than drinking beers at the pub with a bunch of people that don't give a shit about you. This is encouraging, it's motivating, it's inspiring to hear some of these guys' stories. One of the guys, he's lost 21 kilos in the first 20 weeks of being part of this community. It's amazing. a few of the other reasons is really it's connection. They don't have a lot of friends outside of this group. And what a great way to build friendships and mateships. Another one is, well, my wife pushed me here. She said I should go, so I came along. And that seems to be a recurring theme because the wife knows that the dad needs friends at that level. When you become a parent, you become isolated. Your old friends don't kind of understand what you're going through. The new ones do, especially if they have kids around the same age as you. They get it. They don't get the intricacies, the nuanced details of what's happening in your life, but they know that this phase is a hard one. So why not do it together? So that's it. You don't have a motivation problem. You have an isolation problem. So join a Train Hard Men's Club. There are over 70 plus in the world you can join. And if you can't join one, start one. Or find a third space. Find a third place that you can go and just be yourself and just hang shit on other men. I think that's part of the fun. As long as you don't take it personally, it's judgment free. Of course, it always is. It's a little bit of banter, a little bit of fun. And look, if it's a workout themed, that's what we do. And then we have coffees afterwards. So remember, if you got value from this episode, go into the show notes and give us a rating on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. As well, if you receive value and you want to go deeper on this work, the 7-day nervous system reset. Scroll into the show notes just above the chapters, you'll see 7-day reset. This is a nervous system reset calibrated over 7 days that will allow you to rebuild the man from within. Remember that most people wait for their life to change. We are the ones who architect our choices. Change your state, choose how you show up. I am Sean Tucker. I will see you in the next one.